Welcome back, everyone, to the Crypto Rain channel. I'm your host, Jay Murph, and we're talking again about Orion Protocol. So I know you're thinking, Murph, why are you talking about Orion Protocol again? There's some very good reasons why I'm talking about Orion Protocol again, and I wanted to share those with you. So if you're not familiar with this project, you've been missing out on some phenomenal gains, even while other things have been pulling back. Now, normally when there's massive green candles, that's usually my point to say, whoa, wait. And almost always that is the case. But when I think something is undervalued versus its long-term value still, then I still remain interested. And I'm looking for entry points myself to pick up some more. So I wanted to share with you a little bit about what I'm thinking about. All right, so first we're here on CoinGecko, and we're looking at the price of Orion Protocol. Now, if you followed my videos, you know how I break this down. The first thing I look at is the price, which isn't as relevant as brand new people often think. This is only relative when you factor this versus the circulating supply, and that gives us what's called the market cap. And the market cap tells us where price really is versus the circulating supply. For example, if you had a coin that was very popular out there that had a circulating supply of 100, its tokens might be $50,000 a piece, and still that might be very cheap because there's only 100 tokens. Now, if you have 100 billion tokens, and its market cap is still pretty sizable, those token price might be 1 cent. And they might even be the same. I didn't do the math on this, but you know, the market cap between those two might be the same. And so while one looks very cheap, it's actually no different than the other one. If you put $100 in, you would get an exactly the same amount of market cap. And that's really what matters. And so don't be fooled by high price here or low price here. It is only relevant versus what the circulating supply of the token currently is. The next thing I look at, well, what is the max supply? Because I always want to know, having been an investor in Ripple, who has a huge amount of the supply themselves versus what the supply is, and they've kept dumping on people, which has held the price down for so long. So I'm always concerned about understanding better when these token releases happen to the team to then be able to sell, because maybe they sell a whole bunch and it drops the price. If it's a project I love it when they do that, because then I want to buy more at a cheaper price. If it's a project I'm just buying and holding and want to flip and make a profit, I don't want that to happen, because I'm trying to get as much appreciation out of it as possible within a certain time frame to sell it. So this is the one of the ones I love, and I'm trying to accumulate more of. So I'm very aware of this. So look at this supply and think of, they are going to be releasing tokens every month to the team. If they then decide to put them into circulation, that will increase this. So I like to think of this more as not 20 million, but like 50 million, because over the coming 4 or 5 months, every month more will be released to the team and other investors, and will go up for sale and enter circulating supply. So think of this as a market cap more about 550 million. And is that still a good deal? Personally, I do think it is. And the reason is because they solve a very important problem. I met with some really smart people yesterday, and we were talking about cryptocurrency, and they live local in the same market that I live in, and they've had a lot of experience in business and real estate investment and other things. And one of them is very experienced in cryptocurrency and been doing it for quite a while and done very well for himself. And the other one is just new. And it helps me remember what it was like to be new in this. Not that I'm like super experienced. I've only been doing this for 4 years. But sometimes I forget how it was to be new. And one of the big problems is, well, you haven't created logins to multiple exchanges. And so he was asking me which token I'm most passionate about right now. And I told him Orion Protocol. And he said, well, where do I get it? The problem is he only has a few exchanges that he logs into, and none of which have Orion on it. So I was telling him what he had to do. And it creates a pain point. When you're brand new, you feel totally overwhelmed, even if you're a sophisticated investor like he is. Sophisticated real estate investor, sophisticated stock investor. I mean, to say he's experienced would be an understatement. But the cryptocurrency market, when you come in, it feels totally overwhelming to you. And so I told him he needs to get a login on Qcoin. And he doesn't have a login on Qcoin. Actually, I told him about Orion like a week or two ago, and since then the price has doubled, and he still doesn't have a login on Qcoin. So why am I bringing this all up? Well, because that's a major pain point, because sometimes you're really interested in a project and their token is on an exchange that you don't have a login in, and you might not even be able to get a login in. But what if there was a way you could access all the tokens at the lowest price on one platform? That would be called an aggregator. So not so much a centralized exchange as an aggregator. And that's what Orion Protocol is, and their plan is to be, is an aggregator. And so they are setting up mechanisms so that they'll be able to find you the lowest price on any exchange, make the trade happen, and send it to your wallet, all from one platform, all from one login. Starting to see why I'm excited about that? So the next thing I look at, having been burned by Ripple, is tokenomics. Are the tokenomics set up in a way that the token will likely appreciate? See, one of the big problems with Ripple is their technology is revolutionary, and their company is solving a very, very good problem, but their token isn't so tied to it that it helps it appreciate. Now, it'll probably pump anyway, and my thought is probably they'll settle with the SEC, or the SEC will settle with them, and they'll pay a fine, and they'll be back to fully operating again, and it'll probably be done, and their price will jump up a whole lot. But I like to look at things that I hope will possibly go 50 to 100, and if I'm really lucky, more than 100x over the next 12 months. And so I've been asking myself, which ones do I think most likely for my own personal investment, not financial advice to you, what will I hope will do that for my portfolio? And as I was really thinking about that over the last couple of weeks, Orion Protocol had the best chance for that in my own personal opinion. And so now it's not as cheap as it used to be, because I started buying at $6 and now it's way up here. So this here, we're on TradingView, and we're looking at the chart, and they've had a massive parabolic move here, right? So, I mean, looking back historically, you can see some of my drawings on here as I'm drawing things out. So let me just clean it up a little bit, and I'm going to show you what I'm looking at. So I like to look for W's if you follow my channel, and there's a technical term for it, but I just use W's. And what happens is usually looks like this, especially like it when the second leg of it is higher than the first. And then it usually comes down to the neck point equal to this, and it did exactly that. And then it started a parabolic run with a little bit of retracement here, and then went crazy. Now, they've had a number of pieces of good news, and behind the scenes, their chief marketing officer has been super busy making some amazing deals that will really help them, I think, get the network effects that it's going to take for them to be really successful, because this is only going to work if they get huge amounts of people using their platform. All right, so they've gone absolutely parabolic. I'm going to go to another chart. See, this one we're looking at is on the daily time frame. I wanted to look at the hourly time frame because I was looking for a good entry point. And unfortunately, it's not helping me here because it seems to be breaking out to the upside. What I was hoping for is it would do something like this, and it has not cooperated. Now, it may come back in and trade in here, or it might break out, come back and test this, and bounce up. And if it does that, I'm just going to buy some more anyway. I was hoping, because I'm not looking to quick flip this one. I'm looking to hold this for probably 10 to 12 months at least, and I'll show you why. But I was hoping for some more cheap buys, and I guess that doesn't seem to be working out for me. So I'm going to watch this closely and just see. Yeah, so it's broken out. It might come back and retest, and if I see it bounce off of this, I'm just going to go ahead and buy some more anyway. All right. Now, one of the reasons I have SNX here pulled up is this is one of the projects that reminds me of Orion, that it's hard to find entry points. Until now, the price is so high. But even then, it had a huge retracement when a lot of things did. But then if you missed that, it's already gone up. And yeah, so this is one that I missed out on. I could have bought it forever ago for very cheap, and I missed out on that, and I had never found a good re-entry point. Now, I could have bought it way back here. This chart doesn't show it because it's only been on Binance for a while, but I could have bought it way back here for literally like 10 cents, and I missed that entry point. Actually, when I first saw it, it was 5 cents. Darn it, that's totally missed. Think about those kind of gains, 5 cents to $21. All right, so one of the big piece of news release was the staking calculator just came out, and I want to show you how powerful this is. So there's some different things that you can play with here that shows you what your anticipated returns would be. So I tried to find an easy number to play with. So with today's price, I tried to make it so that it would equal $1,000 in value. So right now the ORN price is just above $14. So if you had 72 of them, that would be $1,000 worth of the token that you have. So then what does your monthly ORN look like, or your annual ORN look like? So this allows you to choose how long you would be locking up your tokens. And the longer you lock up your tokens, the higher your returns are. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, what affects this slider is the daily volume that the protocol is seeing. So if they're doing 100 million in volume, and is that achievable? Yeah, that's absolutely achievable. This is what your annual return would be. Now, this is, they pay you out in ORN is what my understanding is. And so that's if the ORN stays at the price it's at. Now, if I'm right on this, and I'm not always right, just often right, but there's a big difference between always right and often right. And let's say you buy it at a price of $14, but in the coming bull run, it goes up to a price of $100. Well, it actually, in this case, is decreasing your return. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Other than your stake value goes up tremendously. So let's look at this though. Say as the exchange gets more momentum. Now remember, you put $1,000 in. And they catch up to where Uniswap is at in daily volume. It doesn't want me to hit Uniswap, I guess. Okay, it just wants to jump past on it. It's just because it's going from 1 billion to 2 billion. But let's say everyone jumps off of Uniswap and comes over to here and creates a login. And so all this Sushi Swap and Uniswap volume starts going through here, and they hit some ridiculous numbers. And remember, you put $1,000 in. So this is if things go really well for it. The price would go absolutely parabolic, but let's just take it back to let's just say the price goes absolutely parabolic, so the numbers are more true. And it goes to $100 for the token price. Now, my hope is it goes a lot higher than that, but we'll just put this in here. And let's say it gets to 2 billion in protocol daily volume. Now, what a lot of people don't understand is though we're seeing new fresh blood come into the crypto space, we're not seeing near what we're going to be seeing in the coming months. And so though these exchanges like Uniswap, they're hitting these numbers now, that's all going to go up until a point, if they do such a good job with Orion Protocol, that it's simple and easy and people can come in there, get access to all the tokens, get the cheapest price across all of them, well then they will get some huge network effects and their daily protocol volume will go up tremendously, just like we're hoping. Now, the other slider bar that you have to play with is this. And so your returns depend on how much of your ORN, how much of the total ORN is staked versus what the supply is. Now, if you go back to here, we can see that the current circulating supply is 20 million. But remember, a lot more of that is going to be released in the coming months. And so I put this at 35 million. No, I put this at 15 million is currently staked. So that would give us an indicator of what that would look like probably if 75% of the current supply end up getting staked. Now, over time, as more of that's released, let's drag this way over here, and that's as high as it'll let me take this. But you had put in $1,000, and possibly you could be receiving $2,100 annually on what you had put in. That's pretty exciting. Now, that's if you lock it up for the month, for a month period. So, which I would, right? This is a longer term hold. If you put no lockup at all, that's what your return looks like. Does that make sense? All right. Now, hopefully, you're able to, if you're interested in this and your research bears out that it fits what your portfolio is looking for, hopefully, for those that are able to do more and say get 1,000 of them, or say 2,000. Now, 2,000 right now, 2,000 times $14, that's $28,000. That's a lot. But so is this, right? Now, let's just slide this back and say it doesn't hit that, and you're receiving these kind of dividends. That's still some pretty good returns, and that'll force some really good appreciation of the token. So not only will you be getting some great staking rewards, you get some great token appreciation as well. And so I don't know that I'm going to hold any tokens, past the end of the bull run. I'll be trying to sell off most of what I have because I don't want to hold all my tokens through another crypto winter. If the rewards on this are really good, maybe this would be one I would consider holding through there, or at least consider selling and then trying to buy back cheaper sooner than what I would be buying back cheaper on the other things. So it is one I really like. We'll see if the team delivers. Their CMO, Chief Marketing Officer, very sharp gal. If you've listened to her interview from about 6 months ago, one of the YouTube channels had her and one of the Qcoin people on, and you listen to her speak. She's obviously very sharp. And so I haven't been able to listen to the CEO yet. I'd like to hear not only what he has to say, but how smart he is in relaying it, because that'll tell me a lot. But I hope you can see why I'm looking at this one and excited about it. But don't run out and buy it, because I'm looking for a good entry point, and that'll just ruin it for me. Just kidding. Do whatever makes sense for your portfolio. I'm just here to provide my thoughts, and then do your own research and education to make your own decision for yourself. I hope you can see why I'm excited in this one. So thanks for joining me. If you like the content you're getting, I'd love it if you subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a ton. Helps me with my bigger vision of the more the channel grows, it helps me be able to get on people like the Chief Marketing Officer or even the CEO of Orion Protocol and have them come speak to you, because really that's one of the biggest reasons why I started this channel, was to be able to get great guests on like that and ask them the deeper questions that I want answers to, because I like to know as much as I can about a project, especially one that I might be interested in, so that I can make smarter investment choices for myself. And I'd love to be able to get access to them, ask my questions, but also share all of that with you so that you can have better information in order to make better decisions. Thanks so much for joining me. We will see you again soon.